A new study was just released and it showed the risk of Paxlovid rebound infection being much greater than what many medical professionals and media outlets have led on to believe. So, is Paxlovid really associated with a higher occurrence of COVID BA.5 breakthrough infections and symptoms? In this video, I'll break down all of that. But for those of you that just want a quick synopsis, here it is. A new study from researchers out of Ohio who examined EHR's electronic health records of 5,161 people infected with the now dominant BA.5 COVID variant and also 10,752 people infected with an earlier Omicron variant, which is BA.2.12.1, all of whom were given a course of Paxlovid within 5 days of symptoms taken twice daily for 5 days. There was a 32% increased risk of COVID reinfection and 32% increased risk of symptoms in those infected with BA.5 after they took Paxlovid versus those infected with BA.2.12.1. So is this just bad luck or is the data trying to tell us something? Stick around for the full analysis because the details matter. Before we begin, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell in the bottom right hand corner so you can be notified when my new videos come out. Also, click my social links in the description below if you want more content like this. I post extra exclusive content on Substack and Patreon if you're interested. Also, I have YouTube memberships now that give you access to more content. Just click the join button above. Anyways, let's get into this. Okay, let me pull up my most recent Substack post on this study. Hold on one second. Okay, now I'm going to scroll down here and highlight this 2-paragraph summary. Okay, let me read this. Quote, a new study on Paxlovid Rebound from Ohio, USA examined EHRs of 5,161 BA.5 infected patients aged equal to or greater than 12 from June 2022 through July 2022 and found the risk of Paxlovid rebound infections plus symptoms were 32% greater with BA.5 versus BA.2.12.1 infection. And if you keep reading, it says HR 1.32. Those are the hazard ratios, and we will go over exactly what those mean later. Continuing on, that said, this new data suggests Paxlovid treatment started within 5 days of mild to moderate BA.5 COVID symptoms taken 2 times daily for 5 days was associated with a 32% increased risk of rebound infection plus symptomology due to the drug's mutagenic-like effects. So, to explain the first paragraph, of the nearly 5,000 people infected with BA.5 between June and July 2022, given Paxlovid for treatment of mild to moderate COVID, there was a 32% increased risk of experiencing rebound COVID infection and symptoms compared to those infected with that earlier strain I mentioned, BA.2.12.1. Now, if you look here on the bottom line right here, these are the hazard ratios. So let me explain this. A hazard ratio in this case is the hazard or risk of rebound infection and symptoms of those who took Paxlovid who were infected with BA.5 divided by the hazard or risk of rebound infection plus symptoms of those infected with BA.2.12.1 who also took Paxlovid. So basically the hazard ratio in this case is the risk of one group divided by the risk of another group. Now, it's important to note if the hazard ratio equals 1, there's no effect. On the other hand, if the hazard ratio is less than 1, like 0.66, that would imply there's a reduced risk. Whereas a hazard ratio of greater than 1, especially in this study, it would be associated with an increased risk of reinfection and COVID symptoms after taking Paxlovid. So let me pull up the actual study, and I'm going to open up page 6 and scroll down here. As you can see here, the hazard ratio scale goes from 0 through 2, and we just talked about what 1, less than 1, or greater than 1 means. Now, if you look right here to the left, this indicates the hazard ratios of COVID-19 infection, and below that, COVID-19 symptom rebound. Now look all the way to the right here. it says 1.32 and 1.32. And directly to the left of that, right here, one on top of the other, are the confidence intervals plotted on that 0 through 2 hazard ratio scale we just talked about. Now, the dots in the middle of those confidence intervals are hazard ratio point estimates that we just talked about, 1.32 and 1.32. Now, since hazard ratios for both rebound infection and COVID symptoms are greater than 1 in this case, specifically 1.32, that means those infected with BA5 had a 32% increased risk of developing rebound COVID infection and symptoms after taking Paxlovid compared to those taking Paxlovid and infected with BA2.12.1. So to summarize this paper, the risk of Paxlovid rebound was 32% greater in those infected with BA5 compared to BA2.12.1. So what does all this mean? Well, the data from this paper suggests the risk of rebound infection from Paxlovid is relatively high, but what's really needed here is a better constructed control group. Also, another thing to keep in mind, after adjusting, around 25% of both BA5 infected individuals and even BA2.12.1 infected individuals taking Paxlovid were vaccinated. It would have been nice to see this done in a fully vaccinated population, as that would be more reflective of the current population seeking Paxlovid for COVID infection. Nonetheless, this is insightful data and most certainly, to a degree, lines up with what we are seeing after many people take this drug, rebound infection. Anyways, those are the facts. If there's anything you'd like to learn about in the future, leave it in the comments section below, and I'll see you on the next one.